Cavecast, the uncensored show for nerds of all kinds.
But no, man, it's just cool to be able to have you here and just, you know, to hang out and talk for a little while.
Dude, I know.
It's been a minute, you know.
I was
been a minute.
so fucking excited when you hit me up and you were like, or when you commented on my Facebook status and you were like, oh, you're streaming on Twitch? I was like, yeah, bro. And then like 2 days later, you were in the chat. I'm like, oh shit, what's up, man?
Dude, I couldn't stay away, man. Like it was really cool because, you know, with what we're doing with content creating, we've had some buddies of ours that have kind of followed the same path. So it's like, I know what the grind is like. I know what it's like to have two people, you know, and that's your audience. And it's like, but you know, the love for it and everything. And just knowing the passion that you have with music and everything else too. I'm like, dude, this guy's streaming. Like, this is fucking cool. Like, I'm like, first off, I want to know what he's doing. And you know, it's like, should I not have the screen facing certain people when I do it? Cause I don't know what's going to be on it. You know?
Exactly.
So like,
it started as a fucking thing that I've always wanted to do too, which is crazy. Cause like, you know, looking at the past of the stuff that I've done where like you think music is not really going to translate into playing video games and talking shit for 5.5 hours. Right. But I think I'm pretty sure it was the drummer for a band called Stray the Path. I think he hit the nail on the head when he said all musicians just want to be podcasters. Like, that's it. Like we love doing music and shit, but at the end of the day, like there's still nothing better than just sitting around with a couple of buddies, having a couple of drinks and just talking shop for a little bit. Right. You know? Yeah. And I started doing it earlier this year, and I think the response has been fucking phenomenal. Like I don't think I've ever said, hey, I made money on something in the first year that I've done something. Dude, for real. Like I've had probably about 7 failed YouTube channels.
Oh, YouTubes? Yeah.
You know, you got those. I've been on multiple podcasts that tanked, whether it was like my fault or the host's fault or like whoever else was doing something with it. And it's just nice to actually like have something that's going to where it's like the immediate return on investment was nice. Yeah.
You stream every day, right?
Close to.
Yeah.
I try to get 5 out of it. And I try to do at least on like days that I'm home from my day job, I try to get at least 8 hours in. Right. Just to, you know, say I pulled a full shift because some people in the audience don't think that 8 hours is enough. I'm looking at you.
You know exactly who you're talking to right now. That's crazy. So for streaming 8 hours, because Eric and I have talked about like, you know, I mean, mainly he's been more on fire about the idea, to be fair, but we've seen like, you know, Deep Fat Fried and like these other podcasts that have done like 24-hour streams and like it's, you know, over the top, but doing 8 hours, like I know like at least like doing the couple of live streams I do a month, or if I'm, you know, on for like one of Eric's things, like I know that exhausts the hell out of me.
Dude, it's crazy.
You know, so it's how do you maintain your stamina through something like that, man?
You smoke a lot of the stuff.
The ganja?
The ganjas, and you drink your waters, you eat your vitamins, and you say your prayers, and you're good and a good little Hulkamaniac. I don't know, that's the thing, right? No, honestly, just being engaging with the people that are watching you, that does it for me. Like being able to sit there and talk to somebody like while they're watching you play a video game, or having somebody that you're playing a video game with. Cause I've never not had a good time sitting there making fun of my guitar player, Sean, while playing a video game.
And he usually plays with you, right? Yeah.
The joke is, I don't know how in depth with the streaming culture you are, you know, Asmon, right?
I know names, but I don't really know like, people.
So like Asmongold, when he was first starting out, he had a guy named McConnell on his stream all the time. And like McConnell would stream like few and far between. So the joke is Sean's my McConnell at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, he's getting back into it here soon too. So that'll be good.
Hell yeah.
Actually be able to have a collaborative stream rather than just him being the voice in my head would be fantastic.
I will say it was kind of cool. Like, well, I mean, it is cool, but like just like to jump on and, you know, to not only to, you know, interact with you, but the fact that Sean was like, oh, like, you know, he was like reading chat and like, oh, hey, Kyle, what's up? And it's like, oh, shit. Like, dude, like it's because what I love about your streams, man, is that I think it's fascinating to me, maybe because I don't understand Twitch. I've never really gotten into it. I've only like, you know, appeared on some live streams here and there, and I was never really like running things, you know, so to speak. But dude, like just the jump scares that you have and like the different things, like I looked at it where I'm like, oh my God, like I got to protect my wallet. Like, it's like, I'm like, I just want to scare the shit out of him as much as possible. But it's just wild.
I'm a very jumpy person, especially when you're in a dark room. Most of the time, now granted, my roommate, Matt, is literally on the other side of the wall from me. So like he's 6 inches away from me. Like our desks are up against the same wall. Yeah. So like I'm not alone, but having the door just slightly shut to where it's like, oh, I feel like no one's in my house right now. And then there's all of a sudden a fucking guy going, ah, in your ears. Like, you know, and you're in a dark room playing a video game and there's a xenomorph chasing after your ass. And
dude,
like,
that's It sets the stage for it, man. But I mean, it really is, man. Like it's cool to see like just the way that you do things. Cause I mean, it's because people have said before where it's like, oh, like, I don't want to take your idea, this, and this. It's like, nah, dude, we stole all of our ideas and just made them our own. Yeah. So, but that's really like what life is like making stuff your own. Right. And that's really what like your streams are. Like, it's cool to be able to jump in and like, sometimes you're recording metal vocals or you're just like playing games and just hooting and hollering. And it's like, dude, like this is something I love to watch. Like, it's just cool, man. It's in the fact I know you too. Like, it's just wild.
Adds to it. Yeah. See, the thing that I wanted to do with it too is like, I've been a fan of like Let's Plays and shit like that since early 2012. Like when Rooster Teeth first started coming out with their GTA 4 stuff and the Minecraft Let's Plays and the things to do in different games. And
I have not thought about Rooster Teeth in a long time. Right. That's wild. Yeah.
So like a buddy of mine, he's been on the stream once, but I got to get him on more because he's the one that started me on the Let's Play shit. Like, you got to think, my first fucking video came out 12 years ago.
So what do you remember what your first video was?
Left 4 Dead 2. It was right when Coldstream came out. We did a hardcore run of it.
No shit.
Yeah.
Damn. So, okay, this is what I like too, is that you're not just a gamer and like somebody that's just like, oh, like I like playing games. Like, no, you're actually good at them. Like, it's like you actually give a shit.
Sometimes. You know? don't listen to my chat. You know,
yeah, maybe they'll have a differing opinion.
I didn't spend 4 hours on a boss on Sunday. You did.
Oh my God. Isn't that the worst where it's like you get into like a groove where it's like, all right, man, all I got to do is do this boss. And then like there's like a level and a half like after this. And then it's like it just completely steals the wind out of your sails where you're like, if I have to see that green flash one more time to shoot this Marauder, I'm fucking over it. Or like or the Dark Lord or whatever. I'm Doom Eternal guy. But like it's that thing of like, oh my God, like where you're just like, it's like I would like trade anything to make this work right now. It's like I'll give a kidney or something. You know, it's that type of thing. Yeah.
Dude, that's how Mario 64 is for me. If I have to see Bowser one more fucking time, I'm gonna put my fist through the PC. Dude, I did a whole thing of like people like named games for me to play. And like it's actually a channel point redeem on my chat where it's, you know, if you redeem it, I'll play it eventually whenever I get to it. But Super Mario 64 was one of the first ones. Oh, okay, so like that was like super early on and I was like sick. Like I've never beat that game. Like I've played it in various stages of my life, never actually went from front to back, beat it.
It's solid as hell, dude.
Dude, it's good. Except when you're playing it on a perfectly legal version on your computer, you know, because it's a like emulator, right? Yeah. And it breaks when your controller doesn't want to work right.
Oh,
your virtual keyboard pops up on your jump button, so you can't see. Dude, it was a bad time. Oh, now, none of that was recorded though, which was great because I just had it set up on the screen recorder for like the game window. So the audience didn't get to see any of the shit. They just got to hear me complaining about it. So, you know, of course that's, he's fucking smurfing, you know, he's lying. Yeah. But I am on the final Bowser on Super Mario 64. I have been on the final Bowser for Super Mario 64 since like, I don't know, April.
Oh my God. Oh, buddy. Oh man. That's you get past that, you'll feel like you can do anything, man. That's one of the best things. It's like I've overcome such a huge hurdle in my life. Right. But other people that don't play games, like, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, if you fucking knew, dude, it's like that.
It's gonna grit your teeth out. I'm like, come on, motherfucker.
Yeah. But man, so with games that you're playing now and everything, because there's been some games I haven't recognized, which has kind of like opened up my palette a bit to see some things. So like, what are you playing recently now?
Right now we're doing a Indiana Jones Great Circle playthrough.
Okay,
dude, it's so good. It's so good.
I have seen some of the things about it and I've been very skeptical. Yeah. Just like knowing like some of the AI like upscaling that they're doing for like quality and stuff. But like I also had the mentality of that I haven't played it yet. Right. So I can't judge it just because of the cosmetic, you know, the look of it. So like, as far as like gameplay, like it looked clunky to me, but I mean, again, I haven't had my hands on it, you know, to check it out. So
there's a certain like finesse that games have with hand-to-hand first-person combat that always is going to feel clunky, I think.
Sure.
And I think that's where like a lot of people's are saying that it's coming, like the clunkiness is coming from. Because like there was a game that I played recently called Beyond Handwell that had the combat's fantastic in that game. It's silly, but it's fantastic. Like there's no weird when you're throwing punches, it doesn't feel like your character's going like too crazy, like fast, unless you're spamming the mouse keys like I did because it was funny. But in Indiana Jones, it feels good for like a newer generation game, but there's still some camera issues, I think, that kind of make it feel a little clunky. And that I feel like that might just be how first person combat is for at least me.
Sure.
But like the parkouring feels great, except for certain camera issues, but it's a Bethesda game. I mean, come on, the horse is going to go through the mountain,
it's to
right?
be expected now. Yeah. It's just how things are. It's because it's especially too, like it's, the thing that I always imagined if there was going to be an Indiana Jones game that it would be something like Uncharted where it's all third person, so that was a very interesting choice where they're like, no, we're going to put you in the action. Like it's like everything is happening right in front of you. So that's got to be exhilarating at least. So, that's pretty wild. Yeah.
And the whip mechanics with it too are really cool. How they actually like incorporate you using the whip as like a parkour item. So being able to like lash, whatever, fucking, you throw the thing, it sticks on the thing, you climb the thing. That's it.
You pull yourself up.
Yeah. But like being able to incorporate that into a game and actually do it well was just a breath of fresh air, I thought, at least for me. So It was nice. This is also coming from a perspective of like in my early 20s, I didn't get to play a lot of video games except for nostalgia stuff.
Sure.
So now like actually getting into some of the newer games, it's like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. But yeah, most of the time in the 20s, yeah, back then.
Feels like an eternity ago. Yeah.
Dude, right. Like that, I think that's the last time we talked. Not to get off track, but like it was, it was the AOT EP release, I think.
See, that's the thing is that the last thing that I knew that you were doing was Advance on Thermopylae, you know, and which, by the way, like that's a CD that I'm pretty sure I still have in the garage somewhere. Like it's like stacked away with all the other like blank CDs I don't need anymore.
Hell yeah,
things like that. But that was, I know for me, that was a very pivotal time in my life, for like whether it was like turning 21 or if it was, pursuing, film and doing things. And obviously back then, we had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah, because you had just gotten into After Effects. And I think one of the first things you did was the lyric video for Promethean, right? That
was actually my very first crack at cinematically using Element 3D. I had no idea what I was doing the whole time, dude.
Dude, it was awesome. It's still like, I still pull that shit up and I show it to people and I'm like, you guys got to see this. And they're like, that looks amazing. I'm like, I fucking know, right?
See, well, it's weird just because like I know that the textures were good. I know that it's like it had like lighting that now that I look back on it makes no fucking sense.
Right,
like there's a blue and an orange lens flare, but there's no fucking colored lights anywhere. Because I was like, oh, like this is J.J. Abrams, whatever. But getting to practice with that though, like that was one of the things that I realized. I was like, damn, I'm like, I've got to be organized. I've got to do this. I got to do that. And I think it was I'm trying to think. It was either the second or third to last like final revision, like before color correcting,
right,
that I sent you, where I felt so proud about it. And I was like, yeah, man, it's done. The lyrics are right. It's, tight. And I was like eagerly awaiting. And I'm like, all right, man, let's see what he says. Here we go. It's like, it's finished. And you said, yo, man, you forgot Promethean at the end.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and I went, oh my God, that took 12 hours to render. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I got to add like just a little bit of syllables at the end. That's it. And I'm like, oh, it was just so, but with that, it was a learning experience, man. Like it was that thing of like, all right, well, number one, I knew you weren't being a dick. Mm-hmm. It was the fact of like, no, man, like at the end of the day, like, regardless of you being my friend, is that no, like I have a client and they've asked me to do something. There's been, truly, I don't know if like there was even a transmission of payment at that time because I was just so excited to do it. But but it was still like that idea that I tried to treat it as professional as possible.
Right,
and getting to go to the release party up at Peabody's, which I still can't believe isn't around anymore.
It was at the Empire.
Oh, was it the Empire?
Party. Yeah.
So, when did I go to Peabody's?
We played Peabody's a bunch, so I'm sure you're probably up there for at least because you did photos for us for a little bit too. So
that's true. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. So, but no, but dude, it was such a wild thing. Like it was just like to see something, digital, then, like show itself and, in front of people, and then like getting to be at the show that night and like, getting on stage to like get, shots of the crowd and stuff. It was just really cool, man. So like, my question for you is if you want to answer, because I don't know if we've ever like, or now that we've talked about it, but if I've ever seen it, but like, why is AOT no longer a thing? Is that something you want to get into?
Yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah. So like the band was going hard as fuck for a very long time.
You guys were fucking cooking, dude. I was like, dude, you guys were about to be like on tour or some shit.
Yeah. We stopped because there was a point in everyone's lives. You get you're in college. You're still fresh out of high school. You got some homies that are doing some things and you're a part of it. people's lives go different places.
Yeah.
And I mean, musical things change, priorities change. You know, we, as a band, I think we were on the fence about breaking up for at least like the last year that we were together.
Really?
And I think it was just the fact that we didn't want to let go that kind of kept us going.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, looking back, like I would not trade any of those years or any of that music for any amount of money, any amount of other memories, anything in the world. That was like, I look back on those years so fondly, even though there was a lot of shit that happened where, you know, I got addicted to cocaine, had a problem with that. I was drinking super fucking heavily. You know, I was working way too much. I was on probation and I was doing coke. Like that's kind of fucked up, you know? But, like there's a point where people get to in their lives where stuff starts happening and people go different paths. And realistically, that's all it was. Like, we're all still the best of friends today. Like,
so nobody hates each other. Like it's nothing like that.
No.
So yeah.
Like I could call up one of the guys right now, and if they're lucky, they'll, you know, answer. I mean, if I'm lucky, they'll answer. Not, you know.
I'll say that's a really good way to look at it. Yeah.
No, but like Ben's off doing his own thing right now. He's still playing guitar. Brad got married. We were all in Brad's wedding last year.
No shit.
This year. No, last year. Yeah, we were all in Brad's
Before
wedding
now.
last year.
Yeah.
we all you know, still party every once in a while, try to get together. Kyle, the drummer, lives with me. I mean, as much as me and him are always at each other's throats, we've always been that way because we've been friends since we were like 5. So, I mean, it's pretty much my little brother and I'm his big brother, but I'm immature. It's a whole thing. Anyway, but no, dude, we're all still really great. And it was just a point in all of our lives where we thought that not being in a band was better for everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like, you know, we've gotten together and I have some unreleased music from us.
Really?
Yeah, I could send it to you.
Will it ever see the light of day, or
Probably
is it something?
not.
Oh, it's to keep it in a safe and just listen to it on my own.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, we could release it, and like I want to release it, but there's 3 other dudes that have to sign off on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
well, that's. I mean, it's one of those that, like, again, like I never knew everybody in the band like super well like you did, you know, so it was one of those that, like, from the surface, it seemed like you guys had a really good, you know, just oiled machine, and like you guys were just
like I said,
buddies,
we're still all the best of friends.
Yeah,
you know, absolutely, because like those guys, I would take a bullet for each and every one of those dudes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, like they were with me through thick and thin. They've stuck through some hard shit with me. There's been a lot, like, where you know the drugs got involved, and there was a different person than I am today, you know. So I'm sure there's probably a couple of rumors that you heard of things back in the day, but you know, that's all.
What's funny is that, like, even through all that, I mean, plus too, like, I mean, I went through my own share of shit too, like, you know, whether it was, you know, like the, you know, the idea of like coming home drinking, you know, 3 8%ers a night, you know, just like hating your life, and, you know, just like, you know, I've always said that Doom Eternal is the reason why I survived, because like that was kind of like around the time like when it came out, that's all that I did. It kept my mind busy.
Dude, D&D saved my life. 100%.
Seriously, yeah. It's something that is, you know, it's something I look back on that I'm like, wow, like I can't believe I was that person. Like I don't know if I was necessarily destructive outward. I was very destructive like inwardly. Yeah, you know. Yeah. But so how long has it been since you've been sober, man? As far as like the coke and everything.
The coke fucking. Well, I had a relapse a couple of years ago, and I mean I've talked about it before on stream and stuff. So like if people have seen it, I actually just talked about it on Monday. Like it was during a low point in my life, about 3 years ago. And I just kind of wanted to stop feeling everything. Sure. And it was a last ditch effort to try to, you know, end it all. And kind of just decided that I was like, yeah, you know, we're going to lock myself in a room, and I don't want to come out of this room except if I'm on a fucking stretcher. Right. So, yeah. Well, especially being in that place where like you feel like it's the only solution, where it's like, I would feel better if I wasn't here. Right. You know, or like no matter what, you know, is on the other side, or if there is even one, it's like, no, like whatever is happening physically right now, fuck it. Right. You know, but I mean, it's number one, it's awesome that you're able to talk about that, man. Cause I know a lot of people, you know, like you kind of have like, you know, they have the RDJ mentality where it's like, they won't talk about anything, you know, but in the same hand is that, you know, it's like you also don't use it as a crutch. Exactly. You know, it's like, if you're asked about it, or if like things get brought up, like you can comfortably talk about it, but you're able to separate yourself from that and be far away from it and go, no, man, it's a distant memory. You know, because I mean,
no matter what, like that's the thing that I want, for like all my friends I've met, where it's like, no matter, if it was, 10 years or 20 years, like from the last time we talked or whatever, where it's like, nah, man, like I want you to succeed. I want you, to push forward and just kick life's ass, and
Absolutely.
just enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it, and now it's like you're doing music again. You got, got the Reaper software we were talking about, and, recording some stuff, and it's just like that was the moment that like I just sat back, I smiled and I went, he's good.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
you know what? Like, no matter what's happened before now, dude, he's made it to a very good, healthy place. And
dude, 100%.
In his life,
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
I am completely a different person than I was last year too, and that's the thing. That's like you gotta take stock of this stuff and kind of realize that life's just a journey that you got to go on, and how you handle situations is what's gonna change the outcomes. Like for every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction type shit. So you can handle things negatively and sit there and stew on stuff, or you can try to take a silver lining out of it and be like, well, that sucked, but, and, just try to do better.
Yeah, man. I think that it's safe to say that with everything you're doing now, man, like it's just, it's not even just the fact of like, oh, you're healthy. It's like, no, dude, you're fucking killing it, man. You're doing stuff. And when it comes to the music that you're doing now, I don't know if we've
it's the best shit that I've done.
It's a couple questions I have. Is that the first one is that do you have a name for the band itself, or are you guys still kind of like in a working area? And then also like how do you get to flex yourself in this new music maybe that you didn't get to do in AOT, or maybe you get to revisit some things? Like just walk me through it, man. Like what do you enjoy about it?
So like the new stuff is called the band is called Emerge Evade, so EMERGE and then Evade, EVADE, double backslash in there because that's what all the cool kids are doing with the metalcore,
That's right. Yeah.
But I think the biggest difference in this project versus the ones I've done before, like between AOT and between Malice, was like, I did a lot more cleans in Malice than I had ever done in AOT, because AOT there was only like a couple songs that actually had cleans in it, because at the time I didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. Like I was just,
you could have fooled me, dude.
I was like, oh shit, I could kind of scream and I can sing kind of, and the singing was always just not as good as it could have been. Like there was a lot of issues, but back in my day, we had to actually sing in the booth.
That's right. Yeah.
We didn't have, not everybody had Melodyne on their PCs.
They got auto-tune and shit now. It's like, I have it, so I can't.
Dude, I do too. Everything I do is auto-tune. But I mean, that's not saying that like it's T-Pain auto-tune. You know what I mean? Like it's there for the reason of it's easier on the engineer and it's easier on the person singing, so you don't have to go in and do 900 fucking takes. You can take a solid take and then just pitch it to wherever you got to pitch it. Boom, done. Move on. Right. Especially when you're doing like how I do it with 3 fucking layers on everything. Like
I love that so much.
You're there doing so much, but it makes it full. The guy that's producing us taught me that. His name's Danny Coleman. Shout out Danny. He does the new Knight Rider stuff. Yeah. So he's the band Defiance. They're Knight Rider now. He's the producer of Knight Rider.
No shit.
There's that local band Killstreak, I think it is. They do like video game metal. They're like a deathcore band. You should check them out sometime. I gotta
find this out.
They're really good. He does them. He does A Sense of Purpose, which is another local metal band. Super chill dudes too. They did a Legend of Zelda album fucking years ago. It's great.
Oh my God.
And actually Ben from AOT's on that album.
No shit.
Yeah.
So obviously he's doing leads and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And he does a bunch of different bands, man. There's like 3 main producers in the Cleveland metal scene. Danny's one of them. We'll just put it that way. You got Danny, and then Evan moved down to Tennessee, so he's not really in the Cleveland area, but he still does a lot for like the scene and stuff. And,
well, yeah, especially being able to like work remote now and stuff.
Right.
It's like, even like looking at like Mick Gordon, who can live, in Australia.
Yeah.
And, make Doom happen and be like, all right, man, it's like next project or whatever. So it's like, it's a really cool time to be alive for that, man. It's like there's no reason that you can't make music,
Right.
So.
How crazy is he as a guitar player though?
Dude, I will say this is that, there was a period of time that I don't want to sell this like it, like it's something that it isn't. But when I got my first 8-string, I took a picture of it and I sent it to Mick Gordon, and I was like, dude, like, thank you so much for being an inspiration, like totally fanning out, that type of thing, and like trying to like, not be
just that
overbearing.
Little face at the end too.
Yeah, where it's just like, it was that moment of just being like, oh my God, like it's like, I don't know if he's gonna respond. And sure as shit, 3 days later, I got a response, and he was like, dude, he's like, how do you like it? How does it play?
No shit.
And I didn't know what to do. I was like,
crazy.
I'm like, I don't fucking know him. Like, like this is weird. But no, we actually at one point talked about it. I won't get too much into it, but he, because he's just an incredible dude, and he, takes time out of his day to, talk to his fans. It's just really cool. But he kind of like, he has like the same mentality that I think that, every artist does, where it's like, nah, dude, like what I do really isn't that special when you break it down. It's like, it's simplistic for me, or it's this, it's that, and it's, so what I would say is like, as far as him as a guitarist, dude, like, it's like he may use one string, but my God,
like that string fucking rock.
It's incredible. Like figuring out the riff to Super Gore-Nest was one of the most challenging things I've ever done.
Yeah,
just because it's like, it's just all over the neck, and I'm like, how, like what did he like? How much coffee did he have before this or whatever? But no, dude, his music is definitely something, like I talk about Mick all the time, but it's like his music is something that is so interesting, just because it's like, it's not conventional, it's not normal. It's like, no, I'm gonna process this sound through all these pedals, and then you get this doom sound out of it. It's just wild. So, but yeah, no, he's fucking cool as hell, dude. That's really wild,
dude. I've watched a couple of his like like constructing songs, like deconstructing, like how he's like done shit with like all the different plugins and everything that he uses, and it's just wild, man. Like,
especially has like the death choir and everything too. It's just dude, it's like who thinks like that?
That's kind of how I feel with Sean too. Like my guitar player Sean, he that kid, we used to make fun of him in Malice because he couldn't tune his guitar. Now he's the main songwriter of my fucking band. Like, go figure. And like I say that jokingly because obviously the kid could tune his guitar, but it's Sean. Like you gotta.
It could have been at the time. Could have been better. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And but I mean, the dude has gone from being this like just basic guitar player to he has whole plugins of orchestras that are in our songs. Like, oh my God. Grief, if you listen super hard in it, there's an entire horn section in that song. There is a piano in that song. There is a string section in that song. There is so much shit in that song. The other song, Warpath, there is an entire like DJ EDM fucking backtrack in it. And it's all just brought out of Sean's brain. Like he writes everything. Like the backtrack wise, and I don't understand how he does it. So like our writing process has been Sean comes up with a riff, or Chris, our other guitar player, Chris comes up with a riff, and then one of them takes it home, fucks around with it for a little bit. Sean will get it, and then he'll program a little like drum beat to it, just a basic thing, little bass line to it, and then they'll bring the stuff back over. We sit down at my computer, start fucking off with everything. My drummer, Dan, will sit down and he'll start programming a little bit of drums. We'll record some guitars and just kind of keep building and building and building on it.
Yeah.
And like, once it gets to the final stages of where Sean has a hold of it, the programming is just insane. I don't know how you come up with the idea to be like, yeah, I put a train horn in here that's through a fart can. And it sounded like this, and it was cool.
Yeah, but it's metal. It works. It's like,
it's like that song that I was working on, that La 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 cover. When I was recording it, there's at the end of that song, there's that part where it's like, I don't remember the words, but it's like a boom and a cool and a doom or something like that. And the way that they did it in the studio is you can obviously hear it's two different takes. So what I did with it is I took it. And I took the 3-layer scream, just the regular one, but then I copy and pasted it.
Yeah, I know. We're on the same page. Yeah.
And I just put a fuckload of reverb on it. So it has this like just giant, massive explosion for just a one syllable. Ooh.
Oh my God.
And it's that little shit that's in like producing that like still just every time I hear something like that, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Well, I think that it's honestly like it's those aha moments, because like people that have never edited before and then get into music production, where it's like the principles essentially are the same, where it's like, no, you work in layering. It's just that there's no, visuals that, to like layer it that way. But like, dude, like there's been times like when I figured out how to do my first riser, I lost my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I can make it drop. And what I realized is that I knew how to make a riser but I didn't know how to make it drop. So
yeah.
I'm like, well, what's the secret sauce there? What do I do there? So it was like, at night of like diving in, I still haven't figured it out. But but like it's just it's wild, especially like whether it's emulating your voice or if it's doing different guitar effects and being like having that Tom Morello moment of like, oh shit, that sounds cool, but that's not a technique I've learned anywhere.
Right.
I'm just gonna do this a lot, or I'm gonna put this in this section. So it's like, I don't know, like people like that are just special because like even like Misha Mansour, where it's like, he doesn't know how to, compose anything, or he doesn't know how to play any instruments like, a violin or anything like that. But it's like, but he knows how to compose it.
Right.
It's a trait I don't think that everybody has. Like it's something that's just, it's really, really special.
It's always just having that ear too. I mean, like Ben, the guitar player for Advanced Sound Thermopylae, that dude is still one of those fucking people that he can just sit there and you give him 3 chords and he writes an entire song in like 6 hours.
No shit.
And granted, it's not, like fully programmed and everything, but I'm sure if he had the time to, he could. The dude's just insane. Like, I remember the song, Which One of You Stole My Fucking Bagel?
I love that so much. Yeah.
That song was written in 12 hours.
Really?
It was lyrically, well, not lyrically done, but the drums, the guitar, the bass, everything was written in 12 hours.
No shit.
Yeah. And then Ben sent it to me and I took like 2 months to write the lyrics for it.
It's always the longest part.
Sorry, Ben. But yeah, I mean, like that still just blew me away the time that happened. And then like, so the song Grief that is in the new band, Sean spit that thing out in probably like a weekend.
No shit.
Yeah, and it was still not what it is now, but the basics were there, and it was a riff that we had been fucking around with since we were playing with Malice. So it was like just the fact that it became what it is now is just it's great, and I love that song. I really love that song.
Honestly, with the clips that you sent me or the songs you sent me, I was waiting to see like, all right, like what direction is he going to go here? Because there's, 3, it's like looking at an album when you get 3 songs where it's like, okay, are 2 of them going to be super heavy and one soft, or is one going to be more kind of like mid-level, but then we crank it up for the next one or something. And the one thing I can say about listening to what you sent me, dude, like it is just ferocious.
It's crazy.
It's out for blood. It's pissed off. Like it's everything I've wanted to hear out of you since AOT. Because I didn't keep up with Malice. I didn't know like even that was still going on. I don't know. Did you guys play any shows or anything?
Yeah, we wrote a whole album.
Oh, really? Okay. So yeah, I had no idea. Yeah. So
no, it's good.
Yeah, I was completely out of the loop.
To be fair, you are literally not the only person that has said that to me.
Really?
Yeah. Like the amount of people that like I went to. So a couple years ago, Kyle was in a band called Between Home and Serenity, which they were big back in the early aughts. They were one of the victory bands that got signed out of Cleveland, I think.
Okay.
They came back, they started doing some shows and shit. And like, I went to a couple of their shows and people were like, oh dude, I haven't seen you in so long. What have you been doing? I'm like, I was doing vocals for Malice. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like,
I thought it was extinct. Like, I didn't know. Yeah.
And it was crazy because it was just like, God damn, fuck. All right, well, all right.
Man, I think that it's also like, just knowing that you were still active in that time, even like, cause like it's that thing where it's like, oh yeah, I've been doing music for however long. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's like, that didn't go anywhere. It's like, no, but I learned something from it.
Right.
I learned either what to do or what not to do, And so I just like knowing like where you're at now is like, especially with like the composition and stuff in your songs, dude, like I know that it's an entire group effort, so, cause I know like a lot of people like to focus on lead singers and then forget about the band, that type of thing. But like, it's just every hand that has just been in those songs. Like it's number one, it sounds professional, which I know isn't
fucking Danny, dude. That guy's amazing.
Cause like we're in a time where it's like, you can just drop Easy Mix on something, and it's like, all right, well, I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but you can bump it in your car. Like you can do this and that, but dude, it's everything, like the bigness, the fact, like, with all the layers, like not even knowing that he went that hard with, making, I guess you could say the foundation that you need to put everything else on top of, like, dude, like it sounds album quality. It sounds incredible. And when you started singing that, like the first couple of notes, I was like, all right, Jeremy, what do you got? What's going to happen? And what I love about it is that, like, number one, like I know for a fact that your voice has a higher register, and like maybe at the time when you didn't know everything that you were doing, like we'd still go to karaoke and like you bust out, Uncle Tom's Cabin or like Whole Lot of Love, like all that stuff. So I was like, all right, man, like let's see how he interprets his voice.
Yeah.
And just listening to it, I'm like, number one, like, I'm like, dude, like, I'm sitting there, I'm just rocking with it the whole time. And I remember I was telling Eric about having you on, and he was like, oh, he's like, well, who is this again? So I was like explaining everything. And I pulled up one of the songs you sent me, and I played a little segment, and he just went, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, man. I see what you're doing. You know, so like it's, dude, like your efforts are worth it, man. Like you're putting time into something that, like, I can't say that it, like, you know, for sure what will happen, but what I can tell you is that it's like you've got something. You've got something good, you know.
This stuff is the best stuff I've done, like musically wise. And I that's, you know, the AOT shit I'm super proud of. Super proud of where I was vocally at the AOT days, because, you know, getting looked at by people that are, you know, not much older than you, but like older than you, that were in bigger bands, that were kind of coming up to you being like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, that was cool, you know? And then this new stuff, being able to like flex the clean muscle that I've developed and I've been working on for a long time is just, it's so good. It's been a process. This new band's been a thing for like 2-3 years now, but it's we're working up to getting stuff out there. It's hopefully beginning of the year, you know, 2024, 25. I know, right?
I'm doing that too. Yeah. So yeah,
hopefully we'll be getting some stuff out. I got to I want to get together with some people and try to like come up with like some music video ideas or like lyric video ideas or something, just because like I'd like to be able to put something out there that's not just a, hey, here's a Spotify link.
Right.
Know?
Yeah. So you want something tangible for them to look at,
right.
You know, because I mean, that's the thing is that, like, you know, and I'm not promoting myself here, but it's like, you know, doing the
no self promo and chat.
Oh, no, never. No, but yeah, but let's plug my 3 channels. No, but or 4 or 5 or what is it now? I don't even know. But
17,000.
No wonder I'm so tired. My God. But no, like it's, you know, like I knew that giving you guys that, it was that moment of like, look, you know, anybody can go into, you know, a simplistic program and make a lyric video that looks like it's half-assed, you know, and it's like, to me, it's like, nah, dude, depth matters. Like, you know, colors matter. Like, because I even remember having you over at the house and being like, all right, man, so walk me through the song. Like, you know, like none of this shit matters in the grand scheme, but it's like, okay, like, oh, it's because of this. All right, what color armor do they have?
Right.
Okay, like what is it, like, you know, cracked glass? Is it, you know, is it steel? Is it this? So it was trying to just put all that together because, dude, like, your music is great. Your video should reflect that.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
like no matter who you go with, you know, it's like, that's, especially with a project like this, like it makes me excited to be able to see like, all right, man, like what does this new thing look like?
Right.
You know, even if it's just, you know, a visualizer with your logo or something, like, you know, is it doing this? Is it doing that? Like, that's the stuff that like, it excites me because like music, of course, but at the heart, I'm a film guy. So it's like, that's the part where like, it just excites the shit out of me so much.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Dude, what are you using for like editing stuff? Are you still using
Adobe?
Adobe?
Yep.
Okay.
Still using the same shit, just newer versions. So, with a few extra toys here and there.
That's
so
good.
yeah,
That's good. I started screwing around with DaVinci a couple months ago. It's just not bad. I like it.
Now, is that a editing program or is that like a is it mainly like a VFX program? Because I can't remember.
Editing program.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Premiere. Sort of. It's I've been enjoying it. It's free, which is great for me. You know,
yeah. You and your free software sons of bitches.
I'm telling you, dude, Reaper and DaVinci. Sponsor me, please.
I want a quarter every time somebody says it. Yeah, that type of thing.
Dude, have you guys ever done just like random joke ad reads, like just for the fuck of it?
We did a sponsor once. Right. And it was for eWin Gaming. Okay. And I won't disclose everything here, but off the record, I'll tell you everything that happened. But it just, the basis of it was that like, it got super sketchy really fast. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. Like, it's like, this seems kind of weird. Like, I don't want to give access to a company to my, you know, bank account. Well, it was Eric's at the time, but well, no, it still is his. It was at the time he was using his, but no, it was just that whole thing of like, you know, man, like, we felt like we had something, so it was just like it kind of went away, and then we just started grinding, you know, because we were doing 7 videos a week, you know, and it was just like trying to do that, and then on top of like doing a podcast every week, and then, you know, praying to God that I had enough stamina to be able to make a scary story, and like, you know, and now we've got our second channel, so it's like, you know, so like we probably could have honed into that, but I think that we were just so laser focused on making content that like the irony is that we forgot, you know, it's like that type of thing, you know, but
That's a good problem to have, though. Well, That's a good problem.
It's in some ways, yeah. Like it's. I will say this is that like making the content that we have, like we've learned what we can handle and what we can't. You know, so it's been one of those that it was like, well, we're gonna do this many reactions now, which is way less. And it's like, okay, cool. Now we have time to focus on other things.
Yeah, because you guys just changed your schedule too, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. It's been essentially 3 reactions, 2 detour videos, and then a scary story and a podcast every week. You get it across 4 channels. So yeah. So which this week the scary story didn't get done because there was just nothing I could do. I'm like, this is like I'm hitting a brick wall. Like I got nothing. Like because like there's sometimes like I'm sure you feel this way too, where it's like you go into a studio and it's like 20 minutes is 6 hours of work, and then 6 hours of work is 20 minutes, depending on like what's going on. So like that's just what ended up happening this past week. So I was like, nah, dude. I'm like, I just need to talk to my girl, take a break, and just not be in here for the entire night, and actually like be out in the living room and shit. So like that's so foreign to me sometimes, So,
dude, fucking tell me about it. That's literally ever since. So the previous job I was working at, I quit, right? Because I just wasn't having a good time, and I kind of hedged all my bets on the fact of like, Twitch is doing somewhat decent for me. Maybe I'm going to try to live off of this for a while. So I did, but ran out of money. That's why I have a new day job. Anyway, but I forgot where I was going at that point. Oh, living rooms. Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy how foreign your living room can be. It's in your own fucking house.
Yeah. It's almost like it's like a courtyard area that you're not in that often, Yeah. Like, wow, I'm living lavish. I have a couch. Yeah. And a light. This is wonderful. They're all one color. This is weird, except for my LED strip. But yes,
it's like we got a nice TV in the living room. Kyle went out and bought a nice TV when he moved in. Motherfucker doesn't get used. It just sits there. It's hanging on the wall. We got a nice our living room set up like an old 70s conversational pit with a TV hanging up on the wall, which is cool.
Yeah.
But no one ever fucking uses it because Kyle's always in his room or he's playing a show or I'm downstairs on Twitch wasting my life, but yeah. It's crazy how foreign your own living room can be inside of your own house.
Well, it's even I think it was earlier this year because I don't know how you got through COVID and how your experience was, but I do know that
I worked retail.
Oh shit! Oh my god! I'm so sorry.
I ran an auto parts store for a company that has a nice green clover.
Oh my god! I am so sorry.
I was the store manager. It sucked.
It's making big bucks, but at what cost? That kind of a
thing.
Bro,
let me tell you, I was working. When I worked for fucking Riri, I was working 50 hours a week.
Oh, jeez.
I was the store manager. I was in salary.
Dude.
I was getting paid 40. I was also the youngest store manager. So you know what that means? The least fucking paid store manager.
Right. It's like you don't have experience, but I'm doing it now. That's everything.
Yeah. That was a crazy time. The COVID times, man. Never have I ever seen more adult humans act like children.
Dude, for real.
It just over the silliest fucking things.
Well, I think that it's weird because there was a bit of distance that I had with it because, granted, at the time, my living situation was very different. Eric was, living here, we had a third person here, that type of thing. So the dynamic was different. I was severely depressed. It was all those things. And I just remember having that piece of I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Dude, it's I understand that people have had terrible experiences over COVID. So I don't mean to sound heartless, but dude, I miss it. I miss being secluded, because I enjoyed it. I had everything that I needed, but in the same hand, it was weird because I made the conscious effort on a day this year where I was nah, dude, I need to get healthy. I need to get outside. I need to get some sun. I need to this and this. And I went to a bonfire at a friend's place and it wasn't, I didn't feel out of place because I wasn't welcome. We had a great time, but I was so out of my element.
Right.
And I was oh my God, I can't just scratch my balls. I can't just do it. It was all those things where I was holy shit, so it was kind of that, that lifestyle thing. I know that's kind of what I turned into is I just kind of turned into a hermit. I just got shit done. And, before next thing I knew 2 years went by and I was I should probably do something else.
Right. So what's crazy is I've always been that way. There's no joke. There's a reason I'm called Hobbit. It's not the height has a lot to do with it. But
I did want to ask you where the name came from because I don't know if we ever talked about it.
I was the shortest person in the group of friends I hung out with, so automatically I got called Hobbit. That's where the name came from.
I thought about making the title of this one, I interview a Hobbit. So
that's fine.
Something like that. So, yeah.
Welcome to the Shire, bitches. Anyway, that's how I greet people when they walk in my house. Anyway, so we. I don't leave my house. Like that's another reason that I'm called a Hobbit is because hobbits technically don't leave the Shire. They're ritualistically hermits.
Yeah, that's why it's like the big adventure is such a big deal, you know. Yeah,
right. So that's another lovely reason that I'm Hobbit. But after COVID happened, dude, I was itching to get out and like go do something. And I think it was because I was told that I couldn't go do stuff that made me want to go do stuff. And now that I can go do stuff, I don't want to go do stuff.
It's like I know for me it was like, you know, being restricted from listening to like Eminem when I was a kid. You know, it was like he was the devil and this and this. Now that I'm an adult, it's like I'll listen to a couple of his things. Like he's all right. Like, you know, it's like that. I mean, he's great, but like it's just that thing where it's just like, nah, man. Like there is a true psychology to that where it's like, no, fuck you. It's like I want what I want. You know, even if it's conditional in the moment. You know, so it's that type of thing. You know, but
Rage Against the Machine said it best. Fuck you. I won't do what you tell me.
With a big chunky D chord behind it, yes. You don't forget that shit, you know. But no, I mean it's interesting, man. Like because I know that it's during that time, like it did allow me to get a lot done, right? You know, and I think that that's kind of like what keeps me kind of in that seclusion mentality. Now, I've also alighted to greener pastures, you know.
It taught me a lot about video editing, honestly. Like that's where I got comfortable with Premiere. And like when I was doing those Let's Plays with my buddy Gary and shit, I mean, that's all I did. I'd come home and I'd edit because I had the YouTube channel and then I had a tabletop Twitch channel that I was doing at the same time where I was running a tabletop game.
No shit.
So I was editing those videos. Those videos were nice because all I had to do was cut out the breaks and just
sure.
Didn't have to do any like cool picture like movement or any fucking keyframing or anything. It was just break, post, done.
More keyframes, more problems.
Right.
That's how it always goes. Yeah, man. Yeah. I think that it's one of those that, you know, the learning like the editing thing and all that, like it's cool to like just see like you have honed that stuff in, you know, where it's like, you know, like it, you know, seeing like, you know, whether it's your graphics or stuff like that, where it's just, it's like, you know, I'm like there's a skill set here. He did something, you know, something happened, you know, in this time span, you know, it's like you've been productive, you know, you've been doing your thing. You
never forget your first one either. The first time you made something move on that screen. And it just makes you feel so happy.
Did I ever tell you about the first VFX I ever did?
No. Was it the Stone Sour song?
No, okay, it was it was shot in camera. It was in the backyard of the duplex that I lived at, and I remember I was so hell bent on like learning how to make people teleport or like heads pop off or someone get hit by a car or whatever. Like I'm like, oh man, there's this whole new playground I haven't invested in yet. And I was in the backyard. I had my camera on a tripod, a flip camera, you know, with fucking square aspect ratio, and I was trying to do this teleporting effect. And what you had to do was, you know, get a wide shot, run and jump, and then go to the next spot that you want to teleport from, and then like jump in the air and kind of like that you land with, you know, that kind of thing. Well, I did it, but I fucked it up like 14 times. So all my neighbors could see was that I was just running and jumping. They couldn't see the camera. They had no idea what the hell was going on. They just heard me screaming, cuss a lot, and then like pretend like I'm in an action movie. You know, although it's like it's not cinematic. There's a cornfield behind me. You know, it's like nothing great. You know, but yeah, that was kind of my first like realization of like, you know, oh man, like there is a true art form to this. Like you have to be dead on. You know, and but I mean that's across all video editing. Like you don't have to do extreme effects to be able to have an artistic view of it where it's like, nah, man, like this is my vision. I'm going to actualize it. And this is how it's going to be. Right. You know, it's just so cool.
See, what's crazy that you brought up like the teleportation thing is like when I was a kid in grade school, my buddy Gary and I I did those Let's Plays with, the reason that I decided to like get him in on that project was we used to make home movies together. They were just like, our studio was called MBS, or Morons Being Stupid, is what it was, right? It's a great name. You know, only 7th grade dudes could come up with that name. It was so creative.
You should copyright it now.
But one of the things that we did was we would always shoot these like short skits. And then one day we decided, we're like, well, there was this hero skit that we had an idea for. Why don't we make that into like a short movie? Right. So it was like these 4 gods, quote unquote, that were like Greek gods that come down from the from the heavens to save their sister, which lived in a fish tank.
Oh my
We
God.
did the teleportation thing. We ended up doing it by complete fucking accident with the camera because I sneezed and hit stop recording when
Oh my
somebody
God.
jumped and it cut it out completely. And then I didn't hit record right when they fell back down like onto where they were teleporting from.
Right.
So the cut was almost fucking perfect.
Oh my
And it
God.
was just because I'm dumb and can't hit the record button at the right time.
Dude, it's a happy accident, man.
Right.
It's like, I think that's the thing is that it's the, again, like, a different kind of aha moment where it's like, oh my God, these pixels did something that I've never seen them do before, and it's just like, I don't know. It's to me, it's like, being able to fool your audience is the best thing, because it's all just a big magic trick. It's like, it's just, the idea of like, don't look behind the curtain and, that type of deal. Like, I think that if most people saw how movies are made, like if they were behind the to the side of the camera, they'd probably just be like, dude, this is fucking stupid. Like, I thought this was $1 million to make this happen or whatever. And it's like, yeah, it all goes into our editing, but it's like, but no, it's just, it's such a,
just four dudes hanging out in the room, man. That's all it is.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Dude, it's one, I think that's especially like, like you doing the band stuff and everything too, where it's like, having a dedicated group of guys, like not even just like, someone that, will work, but you like working with,
right?
Where it's the dysfunctional family that you choose, So yeah, it's just, I will ask this, is that as far as, your music listening is concerned, or sorry, your music producing is concerned, music listening.
Yeah.
What are you listening to right now? What's on your playlist?
Fucking
what are you enjoying?
reggae.
Reggae?
I've been on a fucking reggae kick again, dude. I've been going through phases this year. It's like, so to preface this, earlier this year, I was super obsessed with Lorna Shore, just like everybody else was.
Of course.
And then like in March, I kind of went down this path where I was like, man, I really haven't listened to Sublime in a very long time. Started listening to some Sublime, and then I got introduced to Collie Buds, and then I started listening to Stick Figure, and then I started listening to fucking The Expendables, and then I was like, okay, that's enough reggae for a little bit, and then I started listening to Gojira, and then I went back to Lorna Shore, and then I went back to like just August Burns Red and Parkway Drive and all the metalcore stuff.
Of course.
But like, I was listening to Netherwalker on the way over here. I don't know if you know who they are.
Vaguely know them. Yeah.
I was listening to them. Bring Me the Horizon was on. I have a playlist on Discord that is just my liked songs, or not Discord, but Spotify, that I just send to people whenever they're like, what are you listening to right now? I'm like, because on Twitch, you can just hit !Discord and it pops up a nice little link and you can go like it. Keep that in mind. Go follow me on Twitch. All right, cool, love you, bye.
It's where we keep everybody in line, dude. It's like, this is what's going on. Yeah.
But yeah, what is your recent listening history been going on? Oh, also, Humanity's Last Breath. You got to check them out.
Yeah. See, this is the thing, is that like doing reactions, I've been so restricted on what we can listen to, because like we didn't realize it until like we were like a month in.
You got to get that meta,
dude.
You got to get that meta.
It was that moment of like, fuck, dude. Like, this new album dropped. Like, granted at the time, like, I mean, still to this day, Slipknot doesn't do well, but like, their new shit dropped.
Right.
And it was that, that realization of like, damn, like I can't sit up and listen to this until 1 a.m. and listen to the whole album like I used to when it drops at midnight. Like, I gotta wait.
Yeah.
So my music intake is very interesting.
Yeah.
I have found some bands that like I've just been like, nah, dude, like I'm listening to this. I'm tired of waiting. Like we did Dance Gavin Dance on the channel. They didn't do well, so I was kind of like, all right, no, man, like I want to hear John Mess scream. I want to hear Tillian. I want to hear their old shit, like what they're doing now. But no, I'm at Sleep Token. That's been my main thing.
Yeah.
That has been what was it? I think that I listened to Fall For Me, I think 752 times this past year or something. So like, it's just that's been like my therapy, or like my celebration, depending on the day, but no, Sleep Token's been my main deal. I've been really getting into like the Home Team. And they're fantastic.
Yeah, they're great.
It's
Kyle introduced me to him last year. Fucking that song, watching all your friends get rich or something like that.
Yeah. The music video is fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, his teeth are way too white in that video, though. Yeah. Let's be real. Like, it's kind of freaky how white his fucking teeth are.
He actually he has like almost a Joker kind of look to him.
Right.
Because the first video I think I found of theirs was Bragg.
Okay.
And the second that he got slammed on the police car and like it's in slow motion, I was kind of fried at the time when I watched it, but I was like, what the hell is this? And then the music kicked in and I was like, dude, like, okay. Like, these guys got a good visual. They got a good, sound. I'm like, all right, like, what are we gonna do here? And then to see that they use like, I think they at least like they use like lower range, like 7-string, and like they use like funky stuff. And I'm like, this is what I've been waiting for. Yeah. Something that is completely different from what I've been listening to, although it has like some of the similar traits that I enjoy in
music. You listen to Bill Murray at all?
We were thinking about doing it on the channel, but we've never been ballsy enough to actually like dive into it. So that's one that we've been kind of like waiting on. So
you should. I could probably fire off a couple emails and tell the dude, be like, hey.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh,
he's from Ohio.
See, I heard that he was from Ohio. Then I also heard that he was like from like, I don't know, like some like southern state or something. So
he might live in a southern state, but he was into Attack Attack.
Okay.
It's the dude that did all the cleans in Attack Attack.
No shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, wow. See, I thought he was just some guy that wanted to make country metal or something. So
no, it's I don't remember his fucking name for the life of me. But he was the dude that played guitar and did the cleans in Attack Attack before Caleb took over all the vocal duties.
That's crazy. So even Attack Attack, that's actually a band that I forgot about for a long time.
Oh, they came back too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got a bunch of new stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, their band is pretty much the band that formed after Attack Attack broke up. Like plus or minus a couple of people, I think is what it is. They were a band called I think it was Ira Hill.
And then that does sound familiar, yeah.
I think it was Ira Hill, and then they became Nine Shrines was the band.
Oh shit, okay.
And then they decided that they were just going to take the Attack Attack name because I think the drummer owns the rights for it or something like that. I could be completely wrong on all this shit, so don't fucking quote me. But I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
But like, you know, that's the other thing. Growing up and like hearing those guys, you know, you think it's like, oh, they must be like, you know, really fucking talented and like super crazy guys and shit, and then you meet them when you get older and you're like, these assholes are just like me.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They just want to play music and have a couple of beers. That's it.
Yeah, it's like they're tired like everybody else, or like it's like they're like you can joke with them, like because that's the one thing that I've always been worried about is like, you know, the whole thing like meet your heroes, right? You know, that type of thing, you know, because like there's been different things that have like happened on the channel that we've never met anybody personally besides, well, Catch Your Breath, we got to meet them, but like we haven't met like Ronnie in person, Jelly Roll, like, or these people, but like it's like we've had like some like commenting or like, you know, reactions done to our stuff where like it's kind of that thing of like, oh God, please don't be a dick.
Weren't you guys in a Ronnie Radke video?
We
like he was reacting to like his like he was reacting to a reaction of the reaction of a reaction of it. Yeah.
Well, it's essentially what ended up happening was we did the Voices in My Head video, and just all the credit goes to the audience, man, because they jumped into his Twitch stream and they were like, watch Riker Road, and it was kind of a funny story because what ended up happening was that we shot that reaction, we posted it, and then we moved on, you know, because it's like we got videos to do, or like because the way we used to do it was that we would have like a week, you know, in between when we would do videos. We kind of still do now, but we kind of like, I wouldn't say we forgot about it, but we were just kind of like, all right, well, you know, that was cool. Like we're gonna move on. Like we'll wait for the next drop, essentially.
Right.
Eric went on vacation with his girl, and I was here with our younger brother, and we're watching a movie, and my phone was buzzing, and I was like, I'll check that in a minute.
Right.
And I then checked my phone, and I had 3 missed calls from Eric, and I'm like, Eric doesn't call me.
But, you know,
what's happening right now?
One missed call means something in today's world, right? 3 missed calls, you better be calling that motherfucker back like right now.
So, but what was funny was that I hadn't checked my phone in like I think like maybe like an hour or whatever, because I just like, you know, was just locked into what we were watching.
Right.
And he was like, dude, Ronnie reacted to us on his Twitch, you know, like apparently like he said like we're his favorite or something. I'm like, that's crazy. This is nuts. Like no way. And we ended up doing a reaction to his reaction of our reaction to take it in, and it was wild, man. Like it's, again, like I've never met the guy personally, but what I can say is that like with not even just us, but like, you know, when he's talked about like Two Lit Mafia, or he's talked about, you know, like these other you know, reactors and stuff that have been in the game much longer than we have, that, you know, he gave everybody credit, you know, and it was just like, man, you know what, like that's a guy that I respect, you know, not only because he's talented, but, you know, it's like the interactions I've had with him, which have been, you know, through the 7 levels of Kevin Bacon, have been great.
Right.
You
exactly.
know, so, but no, like we've had, like Echo has messaged the page before, and like, you know, we actually almost went to a concert to meet him, but just scheduling of like conflict and, you know, just stuff like that. But no, it's been wild, like just to like have those experiences where like when you see a comment and you're like, that has a check mark next to it. It's fucking weird. It's like, why are you talking to me? You know, it's like, or talking to us rather. Like it's just wild. But no, man, it's cool. Like at least like the people that you've been able to meet, you know, they've been at least like level-headed people. I'm sure that maybe there's some crazies in there somewhere, but like, you know, I would imagine from what it seems like that the majority of them have been just like down to earth, really cool people.
Dude,
know?
I never had a problem meeting people until I started fucking Twitch streaming.
Really?
Let me tell you, like people going crazy and like just acting like completely like out of the fucking out of pocket, like just weird. Like it was never a problem. Like I met Shaylee from Of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
But whatever his new band is, I can't remember that. It's like it's not Daywalker. Fucking but super cool guy. I was drunk, so I fucked that up. But like, you know, whenever I would meet somebody from like a band, they were always awesome. Except for one guy that I met, Dennis. But you know, hey, Dennis from Affiance, me and him squashed that. He's cool as fuck.
Okay,
now.
cool. So things are good now. So
yeah, like it was one interaction, and it was because we both had fucking egos. That's all it was.
Sure.
And I mean, that's exactly what it was. It was just a moment where I didn't check my fucking ego when I was talking to somebody, and they didn't do the same.
Right.
So, but you know, years later, talked to him. Actually, earlier this year, I finally like got to sit down and talk with him and shit. And
oh wow,
you know, it was not that he knew who I was or anything, but it was still just cool to talk with the dude and be like, hey, this is like the 5th time I met you, and this is the first time that I don't hate you. And he was like, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah dude.
Well, I think it's the fact that it's like, dude, like you grow as people. You know, it's like life happens. Like even like with you know loved ones and stuff, where it's like, look, dude, I don't even remember why we were mad. You know, it's like I'm done being angry. I'm done, you know, like hanging on to this. Like when you're young, it's cool. It's cool to hang on to that shit.
And that's kind of like what I half expected when I started doing the Twitch shit. But like people getting mad at you for like doing well is just so fucking weird. It's foreign to me. Like if one of my homies is doing good, I'm proud of the homie. Right. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sitting there like, hey, they have 400 viewers and I'm sitting here at 4. You know what I mean? Like it's just so weird the amount of pettiness that goes into Twitch streaming versus like being in a local fucking band. Like of all the things, like I never had so much drama.
Well, it's like you would think that the music scene would be more apt to that, but I think it probably just stems from like the keyboard warrior thing, you know, of like people feeling like that, you know, they're big and tall, you know, behind like, you know, behind the scenes and that type of thing. And it's like, nah, man, like it's like you're a person too, like, you know, check yourself, you know, it's like you got to remember that it's like you didn't put in the time and the effort to make this happen. You did your own thing, whatever that is, but it's like don't try to, you know, rip apart what I'm doing just because you're not doing it, or like, or that you're mad that I'm making money or I'm not, you know, it's just like, it's like, nah, man, like, it's like you got bigger things to worry about in life. You know, it's just life is short. You got to enjoy what you got, you know?
Right. So. Like every time because I'd check up on your videos every once in a while. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. But like, buy my mixtape.
But like every time I would pop on your guys' YouTube channel, I'd always see like the view counts and shit. I'm like, dude, that's so fucking cool. Like I was just so happy to see you guys doing like the reaction content and like, because I've been watching for a while, even though I never, you know, said hi or anything. But like you pop in and you see like a video, you watch your homies and shit. It's like, dude, that's fucking dope to see happen. You know?
That means the world to me, man. It's just it's surreal, everything that's happened, and we've just kind of ridden the waves and just enjoyed it, you know. So, but I mean, trust me, like, you know, life's a dream until it's a nightmare, you know. Reality does, you know, set in. But regardless, to kind of wrap up here, because I think we're getting close on filling up on the SD card. But it's like, yeah, and this is the greatest podcast ever because. and then it cuts out, but no, man. Just as far as just like, you know, future things and stuff. I guess what's the next step for the band? Like, what's going on with everything?
Dude, band wise, we got this EP that we're finishing up. We have all the songs recorded. Just got to get them over to Danny to finish mixing and mastering. But he's busy until the start of the year. So yeah, you know, we got that coming out. We got hopefully we'll be getting a lyric video out, music video. We'll have all the social media stuff. Hopefully Maybe I'll have a link for it in the description below.
Anything you got, man. We'll throw it down there.
We'll see.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
But yeah, that's what's next music wise. Possibly playing some shows. I don't know. We'll see.
I think that I might go out and actually film some stuff for you and stuff in the crowds and stuff. So
yeah,
if nothing else, for my own personal enjoyment. So it's
that's for his own spank bank.
That's right. I'm saving it for later. So, but either way, guys, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us this whole time. So it's cool to be able to talk to you, man, and just to be able to to talk life and everything else. So, but usually I give it to Eric at the end of the show, but you're the guest. So today, is there anything you want to tell the audience before we officially sign off?
It is better to come in the sink than to sink in the cum.
And with that, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Adios.